Doa.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya Allah, sesungguhnya Engkaulah Tuhan yang mempunyai kebesaran dan keagungan, yang memerintah dan mentadbir alam sekalian. Tiada berlaku sesuatu melainkan dengan kehendak dan kekuasaan daripada-Mu jua. Kepada Engkaulah sebenar-benarnya tempat kami meletakkan harapan dan memohon pertolongan. Ya Allah, apalah kiranya dengan kemurahan-Mu Engkau anugerahkan kepada kami sebaik-baik ilham dan fikiran, dan berikanlah kami sebaik-baik pimpinan untuk menjalankan tugas dan kewajipan kami. Mudahkan kepada kami segala kerumitan dalam menyelesaikan persoalan-persoalan yang diperbahaskan di dalam sidangan kami ini, dan sampaikanlah kami kepada kata sepakat dan tujuan-tujuan yang muktamad demi untuk kepentingan dan kebaikan negara. Seterusnya, kepada Engkaulah juga kami harapkan agar segala usaha dan cita-cita kerajaan dalam rancangan-rancangan pembangunannya akan berhasil dan berjaya untuk membawa kemakmuran, keadilan dan kebahagiaan kepada rakyat seluruhnya. Amin.
Pemasyuran daripada Tuan Speaker.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera. Ahli yang berhormat, I have granted leave of absence under Standing Order 81 to Yang Berhormat Encik Wilson Nyabung and Ijang, Honorable Member for N61 Pelagus for today's sitting.
Pertanyaan-pertanyaan bagi jawapan-jawapan lisan.
Yang Berhormat Encik Lidam Anak Asan Katibas.
Terima kasih Tuan Speaker. Soalan saya nombor 63.
Soalan 43.
63.
63. Soalan 63. Please press the button.
Tuan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, memandangkan soalan yang dikemukakan oleh Ahli Yang Berhormat bagi Ketibas, iaitu soalan nombor 63, mempunyai banyak persamaan dengan soalan yang dikemukakan oleh Ahli Yang Berhormat bagi Daru, soalan nombor 89, dan juga soalan nombor 97 dari Ahli Yang Berhormat bagi N57 talian, dan soalan nombor 111 dari Ahli Yang Berhormat N67 Jepak. Saya mohon izin Tuan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker untuk menjawab keempat-empat soalan tersebut secara serentak.
Ya, sila.
Ya, terima kasih Tuan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker. Untuk makluman keempat-empat ahli yang berhormat bagi Ketibas, Daru, Telian dan Jepak, syarikat milik Kerajaan Sarawak, syarikat Sarawak Petroleum Berhad, Sarawak Petroleum Berhad, ringkasnya Petros, telah dilantik sebagai gas agregator tunggal di Sarawak berkuat kuasa 1 Februari 2024. Sebagai gas agregator tunggal di Sarawak, Petros berperanan untuk menjalankan semua aktiviti yang berkaitan dengan perolehan, pembekalan, pengedaran dan penjualan gas asli di Sarawak. Petros juga bertanggungjawab membuat perancangan, pembangunan, operasi dan penyelenggaraan sistem rangkaian pengedaran gas asli di Sarawak. Untuk makluman ke semua empat ahli yang berhormat yang bertanya, iaitu dari Ketiga, Darul, Telian dan Jepak dan semua ahli yang berhormat di Dewan yang mulia ini, di Distribution of Gas Ordinance 2016 yang dipinda pada tahun 2023 adalah Undang-Undang Negeri Sarawak yang bertujuan untuk memastikan semua pihak termasuk Petronas mematuhi keperluan perlesenan yang telah ditetapkan dalam Distribution of Gas Ordinance 2016. Sehingga kini Kerajaan Negeri Sarawak melalui Petros masih dalam peringkat perbincangan teknikal perkara-perkara yang perlu dihalusi dengan Petronas untuk memastikan segala keperluan di bawah ordinan ini dipatuhi. Dan saya juga ingin berkongsi di sini bahawa apabila kita berkata tentang adanya perkara-perkara teknikal yang masih dibincangkan secara mendalam di antara Petronas dan Petros, kita ada surat terbaru daripada Petronas yang bertarikh 1 November 2024 dan surat daripada Petros 6 November 2024. So this is the latest communication between both Petronas and Petros on the details that they are working out right now. But I must apologize, Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I cannot disclose the details. I can only show that these two letters are the proof that engagement on details are still ongoing between both Petronas and Petros right now. Perbincangan ini, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, di antara Petros dan Petronas, perlu saya jelaskan juga di sini bahawa tidak melibatkan sebarang perbincangan mengenai pelantikan Petros sebagai gas agregator tunggal. Oleh itu, saya sekali lagi ingin menegaskan bahawa pelantikan Petros sebagai gas agregator tunggal adalah muktamad, not negotiable. Bermakna tidak ada gas agregator lain di Sarawak melainkan Petros sahaja. There are no other gas aggregator in Sarawak. Pada masa yang sama, saya juga, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, ingin memberi nasihat kepada Petronas dan juga peringatan kepada Petronas supaya membuat keputusan dan bersetuju terhadap perkara-perkara yang telah dibincangkan bersama secepat mungkin tertakluk kepada Distribution of Gas Ordinance 2016. We have given enough time for Petronas to formalize the decision. In fact, kita dah bagi extension masa 3 bulan sehingga 31 Oktober 2024. Sekarang boleh diibaratkan kita berada dalam injury time. So I hope the decision will be made soon as possible by our National Oil and Gas Company Petronas together with Petros in soon as possible. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, selaras dengan status Petros sebagai gas agregator tunggal di Sarawak, Petros telah menandatangani beberapa Gas Sales Agreement GSA dengan pengguna gas hiliran. Di antaranya ialah pertama, GSA yang ditandatangani dengan Sarawak Petchem Sinar Berhad yang telah dilakukan pada 22 hari bulan Julai 2024. Kedua, dengan Sarawak Energi Berhad pada 22 Julai 2024, dan ketiga di antara Petros dengan Shell MDS Sinar Berhad pada 18 Ogos 2024. Saya percaya Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker Sir, kesemua soalan yang dikemukakan oleh keempat-empat ahli yang berhormat mewakili suara rakyat Sarawak tentang hak Sarawak terhadap kepentingan Sarawak dalam sumber asli, khususnya gas asli yang terdapat di Sarawak. Suara rakyat Sarawak terhadap sumber gas asli di Sarawak berdasarkan Undang-Undang Sarawak, iaitu Distribution of Gas Ordinance 2016 yang dipinda pada bulan November 2023, wajar dihormati oleh semua pihak. Lebih-lebih lagi, semua pemain atau syarikat yang terlibat dalam sektor atau gas industri di Sarawak, dan sudah tentunya termasuk pihak Petronas juga. Selaras dengan itulah, maka sehingga kini Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, kementerian saya telah melulus dan mengeluarkan Retail of Gas License to 13 upstream gas players and 10 license to downstream gas players sehingga kini. Dan ini adalah berdasarkan Section 7 Distribution of Gas Ordinance 2016. Failure to comply to the license requirement is an offence under Section 20 of the Ordinance. Jadi dengan itulah Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, saya boleh menjawab keempat-empat perkara yang dibangkitkan oleh keempat-empat ahli yang berhormat mengenai gas agregator di Sarawak sehingga kini. Terima kasih.
Tan Sri Speaker, dan terima kasih Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Menteri. I have two supplementary questions. First, what are the benefit of Petros appointments as the sole aggregator? And question number two, how can the appointment of gas aggregator contribute to PCDS 2030? Thank you.
Terima kasih ahli yang berhormat bagi Ketibas, dan saya percaya soalan ahli yang berhormat bagi Ketibas memang bertepatan kerana beliau pernah terlibat dalam industri gas dan minyak di Sarawak. Jadi untuk menjawab soalan pertama, saya boleh mengatakan bahawa pertama, manfaat yang bakal diperolehi oleh Sarawak ialah pertama, sudah semestinya akan menyumbang sumber pendapatan baharu bagi Sarawak. Kedua, ianya akan dapat membantu Sarawak untuk melaksanakan Sarawak Gas Roadmap. Ketiga, dapat mewujudkan peluang pekerjaan yang berkualiti tinggi. Dan keempat, dapat memperuntukkan sumber gas asli untuk kegunaan domestik dan juga untuk perkembangan industri hiliran di Sarawak dalam masa dekat. Untuk menjawab soalan yang kedua, soalan tambahan, memang kita menjangkakan bahawa apabila Sarawak melalui Petros menjadi gas agregator tunggal di Sarawak, kita percaya bahawa ianya akan dapat mempercepatkan pembangunan Sarawak Gas Roadmap seperti yang saya katakan tadi, dan ianya dijangka akan mewujudkan lebih daripada 100,000 peluang pekerjaan berkualiti tinggi untuk rakyat Sarawak. Ia juga akan menyumbang kepada peningkatan keluaran negara kasar KDNK Sarawak sebanyak di sekitar 8% setahun, yang merupakan sasaran kita menjelang 2030 berdasarkan PCDS 2030. So inilah di antara benefit yang diperolehi oleh Sarawak apabila Petros menjadi gas agregator tunggal di Sarawak. Terima kasih.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Ibu Hormat Datuk Mas Speaker. Terima kasih Yang Berhormat Menteri Datuk Jawapan Negeri. Terima kasih juga kerana telah menjawab soalan saya sekali. Memandangkan soalan saya juga dijawab tadi, dan saya ada dua soalan tambahan. Pertamanya, saya ingin tahu bagaimanakah peranan gas aggregator ini boleh menyumbang kepada pembangunan ekonomi di bawah Sarawak Gas Roadmap ataupun SGR. Soalan saya yang kedua adalah bagaimanakah rakyat Sarawak dan rakyat Sarawak dapat mendapat manfaat daripada pelantikan Petros sebagai gas aggregator tunggal. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Ahli Yang Berhormat Bagi Daro. Soalannya memang menjurus kepada persamaan, tetapi penting untuk dijawab di sini. Jadi untuk menjawab soalan pertama, gas aggregator memang berperanan untuk menjalankan semua aktiviti berkaitan dengan perolehan seperti yang saya katakan tadi, pembekalan, pengedaran dan penjualan gas asli di Sarawak. Gas aggregator juga bertanggungjawab mengawasi pembangunan, operasi dan penyelenggaraan sistem rangkaian pengedaran gas asli di bawah inisiatif Sarawak Gas Roadmap. Dan untuk menjawab soalan yang kedua, ianya dijangka akan dapat membangun infrastruktur dan rangkaian pengedaran gas asli Sarawak, termasuk pembangunan Kuching Low Carbon Hub di masa yang akan datang. Kedua, kita akan dapat memastikan bekalan yang mencukupi dan harga gas asli yang berpatutan untuk pasaran di Sarawak, meaning that we are in control of the quantity and the pricing of natural gas yang kita perlukan di Sarawak, tidak ditentukan oleh pihak lain. Ini di antara peranan penting yang bakal dimainkan oleh Petros sebagai gas aggregator tunggal di Sarawak. Ketiga, ianya seperti yang kita jangka akan dapat memberi peluang pekerjaan, peluang kepada rakyat Sarawak serta syarikat tempatan mengambil bahagian dalam industri pengedaran gas asli. Definitely that will give the opportunities to our fellow Sarawakian in the near future. Dan keempat, kita jangkakan bahawa ianya akan dapat meningkatkan kebajikan rakyat melalui hasil daripada industri minyak dan gas, khususnya daripada pembangunan gas asli itu sendiri di Sarawak di masa yang akan datang. Terima kasih.
Sila, WB Jepak.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Tuan Si Speaker. Minum air ketum bergelas-gelas. Soalan tambahan 111. Soalan 1. Apakah status terkini projek Bintulu sama laju gas pipeline? Dan yang kedua, bilakah projek Bintulu sama laju gas pipeline ini akan siap? Terima kasih.
Terima kasih ahli yang berhormat bagi Jepak. Saya percaya kedua-dua soalan ini adalah soalan tambahan kerana the main question has been answered together with the main question from our member from Ketiga just now. So the two questions will be addressed as two supplementary questions. Soalan pertama, jawapannya begini. Projek Bintulu Samalaju Gas Pipeline kini di fasa engineering, procurement, construction and commissioning (EPCC) yang akan memulakan onshore civil works pada Disember 2024. Untuk menjawab soalan yang kedua, projek Bintulu Samalaju Gas Pipeline dijangka dapat beroperasi pada suku keempat tahun 2025, meaning next year will be operational. Thank you.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Dr. Ahmad Speaker. Memandangkan soalan saya pun dijawab bersama sebentar tadi, saya ada dua soalan tambahan kepada Yang Berhormat Menteri. Apakah peranan strategik Petros sebagai gas aggregator tunggal dan berapa peratuskah sumber gas asli yang telah dieksport ketika ini? Sekian, terima kasih.
Terima kasih ahli yang berhormat bagi kawasan talian. Kita memang menanti-nantikan peranan Petros sebagai gas aggregator tunggal di Sarawak kerana kita tahu bahawa ianya boleh memain peranan strategik, dan di antara peranan strategik Petros sebagai gas aggregator tunggal adalah bertanggungjawab untuk memastikan bekalan gas asli mencukupi untuk kegunaan, di antaranya pertama penjanaan kuasa power generation, kedua untuk pengeluaran metanol which is part of manufacturing downstream industries in Sarawak, ketiga penubuhan dan pembangunan Kuching low carbon hub in the near future which is being planned right now, dan keempat memperluaskan penerokaan pengeluaran atau pembekalan gas asli di kawasan pelantar benua continental shelf untuk memenuhi permintaan, dan kelima lain-lain aktiviti berkaitan gas asli di Sarawak pada masa yang akan datang. Untuk menjawab soalan kedua, sebanyak 94% daripada sumber gas asli yang diperolehi di Sarawak adalah diekspor berbanding untuk kegunaan domestik, meaning that a high percentage, which is equivalent to 94%, is meant for export. Pelantikan gas aggregator tunggal yang dimainkan peranan oleh Petros nanti, kita jangka dapat meningkatkan penggunaan gas asli dan memastikan keperluan gas asli adalah mencukupi untuk kegunaan di Sarawak. So we are looking forward that Petros would be able to increase the usage of natural gas in Sarawak in the near future, because as of now, as I mentioned earlier just now, 94% of natural gas is exported. So hopefully with Petros as a sole gas aggregator, we would be able to benefit more volume of gas for domestic purposes in the near future. Thank you, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker.
Yang Berhormat Encik Balbian Mak Kelalan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is number 64.
Thank you, Tan Sri Ahmad, Dr. Speaker, and thank you for the member from Baklalan for the question. For the information of the honourable member from Baklalan, the Trans-Borneo Railway feasibility studies, which is a federal funded
is currently in the process of appointing consultants by the Ministry of Transport Sarawak. These consultants will conduct a feasibility study to evaluate and determine the potential railway models for implementation in Sarawak and Sabah. The Ministry of Transport Sarawak represents the Government of Sarawak on both technical and steering committees. Collaborating with the Ministry of Transport Sarawak, relevant federal agencies and statutory bodies, and the Sabah government to coordinate and oversee the study. Other committees, members from the Government of Sarawak include representatives from the Sarawak Economic Planning Unit, that is the EPU, the Ministry of Infrastructure and Ports Development, that is MIPD, the Public Works Department, JKR, the Ministry of Natural Resources and Urban Development, MUDENR, Sarawak, and the Land and Survey Department, Sarawak. 2. The financial model of the Trans-Borneo Railway, which are part of the feasibility scope project study, will be determined once the feasibility studies is completed. Here ends my answer to the member of Baklalan.
Thank you, the Honourable Deputy Minister, for his answers and clarification. However, Mr. Speaker, I have two supplementary questions. One, how long will the feasibility study take to complete? Two, what is the scope of the Trans-Borneo Railway feasibility study? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and also thank you for this supplementary question from the member from Baklalan. For your information, Honourable Member from Baklalan, the duration of the feasibility studies project will take 12 months. That's for your question number one. For question number two, the scope of the feasibility studies encompasses 4 aspects in the following areas. A, technical scope, which includes the operational characteristics, to include cost, which includes alignment, stations and depot locations, and of course, stakeholder management. B, commercial scope, the strategic vision and value proposition, demand estimation, high-level implementation model, risks and challenges, and stakeholder engagement. C, the scope on socio-economic scope, economic case for Trans-Borneo Railway project, national economic and social impact, catalytic impact of transit nodes, high-level narratives and stakeholder engagement, and finally, the project funding. Proposed project funding or financing structures, phased payment approach by the federal government, financial model, and benchmarking with other rail operators. Here ends my answer, Mr. Speaker.
Yang Berhormat Encik Junepang Tanjung Batu.
Tan Sri, Tuan Mas Speaker, my question is number 65. Thank you.
No. Your question is 68.
Tung 68.
65. I'm sorry, it's 65. But it's written here 68. 65 then.
Thank you, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker. Thank you. The questions from the Honourable Member from Tanjung Batu. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, for the information of Ali Yang Berhormat for Tanjung Batu, the Ministry has undertaken multiple site visits and engaged with the Bintulu Development Authority, BDA, as well as private housing developers regarding the projects. There is the project by Tiara Sernis and Yang Berhad to gain a comprehensive understanding of the issues at hand. During the meeting of the Jabatan Kuasa Technical Pemantauan Project Perumahan, JKTP, which was chaired by myself, held on 17 October 2024 concerning lots 6256 and 6258 in Block 32 of the Kemenang Land District developed by Tiara Sernis and Yang Berhad. Key stakeholders were brought together, including representatives from the Sewage Services Department Sarawak SSD, the Land and Surveyors Department, BDA, the developer and the representatives of the affected home purchasers. Now in the meeting, it was unanimously agreed that the developer should proceed with the sewerage rectification works as recommended by the SSD to uphold public health standards, environmental protection, and the overall well-being of the community. Additionally, the developer will apply for the road certificate and occupation permit from BDA, and this agreement is crucial for expediting the handover of the units to the purchasers. Now, with regards to Lot 1713, Block 12, Kemenang Land District, also known as Golden Hill Villa 3, the Ministry Task Force team has engaged with both the developer and BDA. The dispute between the developer and the landowner of the adjacent land remains unresolved. The Ministry is urging the developer to address this land matter promptly and to consider alternative measures to ensure the successful delivery of the project to the respective home purchasers. And the Ministry will closely and continue closely monitor the situation's progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, and thank you, Deputy Minister. I have two supplementary questions. Number one, what is the expected timeline for the Tiara Sani project to be handed over to the house purchasers? Number two, how does the Ministry plan to engage with relevant parties regarding the Golden Hill Villa 3 project? As you know, all these purchasers only tengok saja. Thank you.
Thank you for the supplementary questions. Two supplementary questions from the Honourable Member of Tanjung Batu. For the information of Aliyah Brahma for Tanjung Batu, during the JKTP meeting, as I mentioned just now, the developer had committed to hand over the double-story terrace and double-story semi-detached houses within second quarter of next year. As the answers to the second supplementary question, the Ministry intends and will continue to engage with relevant parties by initiating discussions and exploring mediation options with both the developer and the landowner of the adjoining land. This approach aims to gain a clearer understanding of their respective positions and identify a way forward for the project. Additionally, the Ministry will convene a meeting of the Jabatan Kuasa Technical Pemantauan Project Perumahan, JKTP, involving the relevant authorities to gather insights and discuss collaborative solutions that will help to advance the project accordingly. And we also to ensure that all the home purchases of that project will not be dengar sahaja. Thank you.
Yang Berhormat Datuk Hamzah Haji Ibrahim, setakan.
Assalamualaikum. Terima kasih Tuan Sri dan Tuan Mas Speaker. Soalan saya bernombor 66.
Terima kasih Tuan Sri dan Tuan Mas Speaker, dan terima kasih Yang Berhormat bagi setakan. Untuk makluman ahli Yang Berhormat bagi setakan, bagi memastikan pembangunan kawasan perumahan yang terancang dan stabil dari segi sesakan trafik, bekalan elektrik dan bekalan air untuk jangka masa panjang 20 tahun hingga ke 100 tahun. Kerajaan Sarawak telah dan sedang melaksanakan beberapa langkah seperti berikut. Pertama, merancang untuk menyediakan plan tempatan iaitu local plan yang akan dibuat secara komprehensif bagi bandar-bandar utama di Sarawak, termasuklah plan tempatan Samarahan sebagai asas rujukan dan panduan di dalam mengawal pembangunan tanah yang merangkumi aspek perumahan, jaringan jalan raya, utility dan sebagainya. Kedua, membangunkan sistem pengangkutan awam yang efisien seperti Kuching Urban Transportation System (KUTS) yang masih dalam peringkat pelaksanaan. Ini akan menggalakkan penggunaan pengangkutan awam khususnya di bandaraya Kuching dan Semarahan. Ketiga, kerajaan dalam proses menyediakan garis panduan pembangunan mampan yang merangkumi konsep bandar pintar, smart city, bandar selamat, safe city, dan bandar rendah karbon, low carbon city, bagi memastikan pembangunan yang komprehensif dan berdaya saing. Dan keempat, kerajaan Sarawak melalui Kementerian Utility dan Komunikasi telah merancang dua plan induk untuk memastikan bakalan air dan elektrik yang mampan, iaitu pertama, plan induk bakalan air dan grid air Sarawak yang bertujuan untuk memperluaskan liputan bakalan air dan meningkatkan kecekapan pengurusan air mentah dan terawat dengan pendekatan holistik meliputi perancangan jangka pendek dan jangka panjang hingga ke 2070. Dan kedua, plan induk bekalan elektrik Sarawak yang merangkumi perancangan untuk penjanaan, penghantaran, pengagihan dan pembangunan bekalan elektrik luar bandar untuk memastikan kestabilan bekalan elektrik dalam tempoh 10 tahun yang akan datang. Dan kelima, menggalakkan penglibatan komuniti dan pemegang taruh stakeholder dalam proses perancangan dan kerjasama dengan pihak swasta untuk pembangunan infrastruktur. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Yang Berhormat Timbalan Menteri. Tuan Sri dan Tuan Mas Speaker, saya mohon ada dua soalan tambahan. Soalan pertama, apakah aspek-aspek perancangan yang diambil kira oleh kerajaan bagi memastikan kawasan perumahan yang terancang dan teratur dalam mempertimbangkan sesuatu permohonan pembangunan perumahan? Soalan yang saya kedua, adakah kerajaan mengambil kira isu kesesakan lalu lintas dalam meluluskan sesebuah cadangan pembangunan perumahan yang berskala besar? Terima kasih.
Terima kasih sekali lagi Tan Sri Ketua Mas Speaker, dan terima kasih Yang Berhormat bagi setakan. Untuk menjawab soalan satu, secara umumnya bagi mewujudkan kelestarian sebuah kawasan pembangunan perumahan yang terancang dan teratur, kerajaan akan meneliti kesesuaian cadangan pembangunan perumahan dengan merujuk plan pembangunan kawasan tersebut dan mengikut polisi serta garis panduan semasa yang ditetapkan. Ia haruslah sesuai dengan zon penggunaan tanah yang terancang dan tidak bercanggah.
Kerajaan juga mengambil kira beberapa aspek lain dalam memberi pertimbangan bagi semua cadangan pembangunan perumahan, terutamanya seperti berikut. Kemudahan atau jaringan jalan. Kedua, kesediaan kemudahan utiliti terutamanya bekalan air dan elektrik. Dan ketiga, kepadatan perumahan. Keempat, penyediaan kawasan lapang. Dan kelima, penyediaan kemudahan awam bergantung pada keluasan kawasan pembangunan. Dan keenam, kemudahan Sarawak Urban Stormwater Management (SUSTOM). Dan ketujuh, aspek-aspek lain bergantung pada cadangan pembangunan tersebut. Pihak kerajaan juga akan merujukkan kepada jabatan-jabatan dan agensi-agensi kerajaan teknikal seperti Jabatan Bomba dan Penyelamat Malaysia, Lembaga Sumber Asli dan Alam Sekitar (NRAB) dan Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia (CAM) jika perlu, bergantung pada skala pembangunan, lokasi dan sebagainya. Dan untuk menjawab soalan kedua, kajian impak trafik atau Traffic Impact Assessment (TIA) diperlukan sekiranya permohonan melibatkan pembangunan berimpak tinggi seperti perumahan berdensiti tinggi, high density area, pembangunan bandar baru dan pembangunan bercampur berskala besar. Penyediaan kajian TIA ini perlu bagi menilaikan dan menentukan kesan terhadap laluan lintas setempat yang diakibatkan oleh sesuatu pembangunan tersebut. Kajian TIA juga membantu kerajaan dalam membuat keputusan dan mengenal pasti keperluan untuk langkah-langkah menerangi kesesatan lalu lintas serta meningkatkan tahap keselamatan penggunaan jalan raya. Terima kasih.
Yang Berhormat Puan Dayang Nur Azhar, Lingga.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Dr. Mas Speaker. Soalan saya nombor 67. Terima kasih Tan Sri Speaker. Untuk makluman ahli yang berhormat bagi Lingga, semasa pembentangan Belanjawan 2025 yang dibuat oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri pada 18 Oktober 2024, pelaksanaan kadar gaji minimum di sektor swasta di seluruh Malaysia dinaikkan daripada ringgit Malaysia 1,500 kepada ringgit Malaysia 1,700 sebulan mulai 1 Februari 2025. Bagi majikan yang mempunyai kurang daripada 5 orang pekerja, diberi 6 bulan tempoh penangguhan pelaksanaan gaji minimum 1,700 iaitu bermula 1 Ogos 2025. Kerajaan Sarawak turut melaksanakan gaji minimum RM1,700 kepada pekerja sektor swasta di negeri Sarawak selaras pengumuman Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri. Pelaksanaan gaji minimum RM1,700 tidak terpakai kepada penjawat awam Sarawak. Pelaksanaan gaji minimum bagi penjawat awam Sarawak adalah tertakluk kepada surat perkeliling yang dikeluarkan oleh Jabatan Perkhidmatan Awam Malaysia. Kerajaan Sarawak telah bersetuju menerima pakai secara prinsip pelaksanaan sistem saraan perkhidmatan awam SSPA melalui perkeliling Perjawatan Negeri Sarawak bilangan 15 tahun 2024 yang dikeluarkan pada 15 Oktober 2024. Bagi penjawat di dalam kategori grade 1, gaji permulaan terendah iaitu gaji pokok adalah RM1,500 sebulan dan mereka turut juga menikmati allowance lain sebanyak RM685 sebulan. Ini menjadikan jumlah pendapatan kasar adalah sebanyak
RM2,180 sebulan, iaitu mengatasi gaji minima. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Yang Berhormat Timbalan Menteri. Saya mempunyai dua soalan tambahan. Yang pertama, pelaksanaan gaji minimum PGM terpakai kepada siapa? Dan yang kedua, siapakah pegawai yang layak menerima gaji permulaan terendah GPT? Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Pelaksanaan gaji minimum PGM terpakai kepada semua pekerja, termasuk pekerja bukan warga negara di sektor swasta, kecuali perkhidmat domestik dan kontrak perantisan, iaitu apprenticeship. Bagi soalan kedua, penempatan gaji permulaan terendah GPT baru ini hanya terpakai kepada pegawai yang menerima option SSPA. Bagi pegawai grade 11 SSM yang menerima option SSPA tetapi belum memenuhi syarat untuk ditukar lantik kepada skim perkhidmatan berkuat kuasa di bawah SSPA, sekiranya gaji pegawai setelah diberi penyelarasan gaji adalah di bawah daripada GPT, gaji pegawai tersebut akan dipindahkan ke amount GPT dalam JGMM yang sama, JGMM SSM lah. Jadi saya kira jika Lingga mahu tahu lebih lanjut lagi dan jelas lagi mengenai perjawatan ini, sila rujuk dan berhubung kepada unit pengurusan dan pembangunan sektor manusia HRDM di bawah Jabatan Premier. Terima kasih.
Yang Berhormat Insino Christopher Gira Tamin.
Thank you, Tan Sri Dharma Speaker. My question is nomor 68.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Datuk Ahmad Speaker dan juga terima kasih kepada Yang Berhormat dari Tamin. Tan Sri Datuk Ahmad Speaker, soalan yang dibawa oleh Yang Berhormat ialah mengenai Sarawak International School, di mana setakat ini kita telah beroperasi di dua buah sekolah, iaitu sebuah di Petrajaya dan satu lagi di Batu 12, Kuching Siaran Road. Untuk pengetahuan Yang Berhormat, jumlah pelajar keseluruhannya ialah seramai 403 orang di kedua-dua sekolah ini, dan untuk mengetahui berapakah jumlah mengikut sosioekonomiknya, matlamat penubuhan sekolah ini falsafahnya ialah untuk memberi ruang kepada pelajar-pelajar di luar bandar dan juga kepada pelajar-pelajar yang daripada keluarga berpendapatan rendah. Kita telah menetapkan 50% daripada golongan tersebut untuk dimasukkan kepada sekolah-sekolah tersebut. Setakat ini untuk B40 seramai 55.4% adalah pelajar daripada golongan ini, sementara daripada M40 32.3% dan daripada T20 seramai 12.3%. Ini bermaksud matlamat kita untuk memberi ruang kepada pelajar-pelajar daripada keluarga berpendapatan rendah mencapai matlamatnya. Selain daripada itu, persoalan yang seterusnya ditanya ialah mengenai pecahan kaum yang masuk ke sekolah ini. Untuk pengetahuan Yang Berhormat, daripada masyarakat Melayu 36.2%, masyarakat Bidayu 19.1%, masyarakat Iban 18.7%, Cina 12.2%, sementara orang Ulu 3.7% dan masyarakat lain seramai 2.2%. Bolehlah dikatakan bahawa jumlahnya melambangkan ataupun menunjukkan ethnic group yang ada. Sementara Melanau, terima kasih Yang Berhormat YB Datuk Karim, iaitu seramai, saya akan ambil peluang itu, seramai 7% daripada Melanau dan masuk dalam sekolah ini. Jadi matlamat untuk seluruh masyarakat di negeri Sarawak, walaupun hanya baru 2 buah sekolah, kita akan menubuhkan 4 buah sekolah lain, iaitu di Betong, di Sibu, di Bintulu dan juga di Miri. Bahagian kedua soalan yang berhormat ialah mengenai jumlah pelajar-pelajar yang dibiayai oleh Yayasan Sarawak setakat ini untuk IPTS dan juga IPTA di seluruh negara dan juga di luar negara. Setakat ini seramai 41,856 yang 40,856 yang dibiayai oleh Yayasan Sarawak, di mana 40,599 berada di dalam negara dan yang ditaja untuk keluar negara ialah seramai 257 orang. Sekian, terima kasih.
Terima kasih Tuan Sri Dato' Mas Speaker. Terima kasih kepada Timbalan Menteri telah memberi jawapan yang begitu jelas sekali. Saya ada 2 tambahan soalan. Number 1 is the enrollment to the Yayasan Sarawak International School based on racial quota or meritocracy. Number 2, apakah prospek dan hala tuju murid lapasan Yayasan Sarawak International School? Thank you.
Tan Sri Dato' Amal Speaker, soalan pertama tambahan tersebut adalah soalan yang penting. Terima kasih Yang Berhormat kerana membawa soalan tersebut. Iaitu selalu ditanya, adakah kemasukan ke sekolah-sekolah ini berdasarkan kepada racial quota ataupun berdasarkan kepada meritokrasi? Ini penting untuk difahami oleh seluruh masyarakat Sarawak. Sebab matlamat utama falsafah penubuhan sekolah ini adalah untuk anak Sarawak. Itu yang paling penting. Tan Sri Dato' Amal Speaker, semua pelajar boleh masuk ke sekolah ini berlandaskan kepada kriteria. Yang pertama ialah mereka mesti mendapat sekurang-kurangnya band 5 di darjah 6. Jika mereka mendapat band 5, mereka layak menduduki peperiksaan kemasukan yang dijalankan oleh Yayasan Sarawak bersama dengan Swinburne University. Jika mereka lulus dan mendapat keputusan cemerlang daripada keputusan tersebut, mereka layak untuk masuk ke mana-mana sekolah international school ini. Jadi tidak ada persoalan racial quota berdasarkan sebulat-bulatnya kepada meritokrasi. Siapa yang pandai dapat masuk, siapa yang lulus peperiksaan ini dapat masuk. Sebab itu saya menyarankan kepada semua ahli-ahli yang berhormat supaya memberi tumpuan kepada sekolah-sekolah di kawasan masing-masing. Pastikan ada di kawasan-kawasan masing untuk dapat masuk ke sekolah ini. Yang kedua, mengenai apakah faedah ataupun hala tuju pelajar-pelajar di sekolah ini. Pelajar-pelajar di sekolah ini akan menduduki peperiksaan International General Certificate of Secondary Education yang berlandaskan kepada Cambridge apabila mereka di tahap ke-11. Jika mereka dapat berjaya dalam peperiksaan tersebut, kita akan memilih 2 daripada sekolah tersebut, 2 pelajar akan dihantar kepada the prestigious university in the world. Sebab IGCSE ini layak untuk masuk ke mana-mana universiti di peringkat antarabangsa. Itulah kelebihan sekolah ini. Walau bagaimanapun, mereka juga diberi peluang untuk menduduki peperiksaan SPM sebagai suatu buffer ataupun sebagai suatu langkah jika mereka tidak mahu ke luar negara. Ini boleh dilakukan. Jadi inilah matlamat sekolah ini, Tan Sri Dato' Amal Speaker. Terima kasih.
Yang Berhormat Datuk Polis Ngombang Batu Danau.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Speaker. Soalan saya soalan 69.
Soalan 69.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Speaker dan selamat pagi kepada semua rakan-rakan ahli yang berhormat dalam Dewan ini. Untuk menjawab soalan yang berhormat bagi Batu Banau, Gorana ataupun nama saintifiknya Polinia kepana adalah daripada keluarga Sapindaceae, manakala tanaman kopi pula adalah dari keluarga Rubiaceae. Oleh itu harus ditekankan di sini bahawa tanaman gorana dan kopi adalah dua tanaman yang berbeza. Produk minuman berdasarkan gorana sering dipromosikan sebagai kopi gorana. Ini kerana gorana juga merupakan salah satu tumbuhan yang mengandungi kafein. Oleh itu, secara umumnya, masyarakat beranggapan bahawa gorana adalah kopi dari keluarga yang sama. Gorana merupakan tanaman herba yang berasal dari Venezuela dan utara Brazil. Di bawah Peraturan Karantin Tumbuhan 1981, Peraturan 7 telah menetapkan bahawa pengimportan tumbuhan dari negara endemik bagi penyakit hawa daun Amerika Selatan, South American Leaf Blight ataupun SALB, termasuk Brazil, adalah dilarang. Langkah ini diambil bertujuan untuk menjaga kepentingan industri getah Malaysia yang bernilai lebih ringgit Malaysia 18 bilion setahun. Penyakit SALB telah menyebabkan kemusnahan pada tanaman getah di negara seperti Brazil, Colombia dan Costa Rica. Kerajaan Brazil dengan jelas melarang pengeksportan benih gorana untuk penanaman, dan sekiranya kerajaan Malaysia, jabatan, agensi, mana-mana syarikat atau individu membiakkan dan mengkomersialkan tanaman gorana, kerajaan Brazil boleh mengenakan tindakan amaran, sitar dan penalti sehingga 10 juta rial Brazil, iaitu bersamaan dengan ringgit Malaysia 7.7 juta. Kerajaan Sarawak melalui Jabatan Pertanian Sarawak masih menguatkuasa larangan terhadap penanaman gorana kerana sehingga kini syarikat yang terlibat dalam pengimportan gorana ke Malaysia masih tidak dapat mengesahkan pematuhannya terhadap prosedur larangan yang telah ditetapkan di bawah Undang-Undang Nombor 13 123/15 20 Mei 2015 atau Access and Benefits Sharing of Genetic Resources and Associated Traditional Knowledge ataupun ABS. Tumbuhan, produk tumbuhan dan artikel terkawal yang terlarang boleh disitar, ditahan dan dihapuskan. Mana-mana individu yang membawa masuk komoditi terlarang ini boleh dikenakan saman tidak melebihi ringgit Malaysia 10,000 atau penjara tidak melebihi 2 tahun atau kedua-duanya sekali mengikut Seksyen 19A Akta 167. Jabatan Pertanian Sarawak juga telah membuat hebahan media mengenai isu pengimportan gorana ini melalui laman sesawang rasmi jabatan mengenai larangan penanaman gorana ini. Sekarang aktiviti penanaman gorana adalah dilarang sepenuhnya. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Speaker dan terima kasih kepada Timbalan Menteri di atas jawapan yang jelas yang telah diberi. Walau apapun, saya ada dua soalan tambahan. Yang pertama ialah selain daripada penyakit hawar daun Amerika Selatan, yang menyerang tanaman getah, apakah rosak dan penyakit lain yang berisiko dibawa oleh guarana? Dan soalan kedua ialah apakah produk tumbuhan dan artikel terkawal yang dilarang dibawa masuk ke Sarawak, dan apakah tindakan yang boleh dikenakan terhadap individu yang membawa masuk produk tumbuhan dan artikel yang terkawal tersebut. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Tuan Speaker, dan terima kasih Ahli Yang Berhormat Bagi Batu Danau atas soalan tambahan. Soalan tambahan 1, untuk makluman Ahli Yang Berhormat Bagi Batu Danau, penanaman guarana juga berisiko membawa penyakit baharu selain seperti Coledotrichum guaranicola yang dilaporkan bukan saja menyerang spesies guarana tetapi juga tanaman buah-buahan, sayur-sayuran seperti betik, pisang, mangga dan cili. Buat masa ini, maklumat mengenai penyakit Coledotrichum guaranicola adalah terhad, maka akan menyukarkan kawalan yang dilakukan sekiranya serangan ini berlaku di Malaysia. Bagi soalan kedua, untuk makluman Yang Berhormat Bagi Batu Danau juga, bahawa Akta Kuarantin Tumbuhan 1976, Akta 167 dan Peraturan Kuarantin Tumbuhan 1981, penginputan tumbuhan, produk tumbuhan dan artikel terkawal seperti berikut dilarang dibawa masuk ke Sarawak selain untuk tujuan penyelidikan. Larangan-larangan tersebut adalah seperti berikut. 1. Tanih. 2. Tanaman dari keluarga Hevia. 3. Tumbuhan dari kawasan Amerika tropik atau mana-mana negara yang mempunyai penyakit hawa daun Amerika ataupun South American leaf blight. 4. Tumbuhan dari kawasan koko Afrika endemik kepada penyakit kelapa, kelapa sawit dan koko seperti Cacao Solent Shoot Virus Complex, Little Yellowing, Kencop dan kedang-kedang virus. 5. Perosak dan penyakit tumbuhan seperti di dalam jadual 4 Peraturan Kuarantin Tumbuhan 81, dan ke-6 tumbuhan-tumbuhan berjadual seperti dalam jadual 3 Peraturan Kuarantin Tumbuhan 1981. Terima kasih.
Yang Berhormat Datuk Bagi Satok.
Assalamualaikum, selamat pagi. Terima kasih Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Datuk Amar. Soalan saya nombor 70.
Terima kasih Tuan Sri Speaker dan terima kasih Ahli Yang Berhormat Bagi Satok. For the information of Ahli Yang Berhormat for Satok, nearly half of the event held in Sarawak are related to cultural heritage. Some of the localized heritage events include reliving the culture, Sarawak Malay traditional wedding at Rumah Warisan Tan Sri Abang Ahmad Urai in Kuching, Kuching Intercultural Mooncake Festival, Bun Bratak Day in Bau, Borneo Cultural Festival in Sibu, Pesta Kaul in Muka, Kapit Dayak Cultural Festival, Pesta Badudun and Lumba Kerbau and Pesta Babulang dan Lumba Kerbau in Limbang, Irau Akol Lun Bawang in Lawas Bintango Festival, Pesta Danu in Serian, and many more. My ministry, in collaboration with the Divisional Tourism Task Group, works closely with local communities to involve them in the planning and organization of heritage activities. While our ministry provides partial funding, local communities contribute by selling traditional food products, craft, and participating in performances and traditional games showcasing their cultural heritage during this event. This approach not only empower the local communities to showcase their heritage and promote cultural awareness, it also fosters community-driven tourism activities. Sarawak Craft Council, SCC, also organize programs and events such as Craft Week and Craft Bazaar to empower local communities to promote their product in the market. Sarawak Craft Council also enhance the visibility of local craft products by participating in international, regional and local events such as Rainforest World Music Festival, Hari Craft Kebangsaan, Maha Fair, Mata Fair, Showcase Usahawan Sarawak Mintret, Borneo Cultural Festival, Festival Craft Borneo, and a few more. Thank you.
Terima kasih Yang Berhormat Timbalan Menteri. Yang Berhormat dan Sri Dato' Amar, I have two supplementary questions. Number one, what are the strategies adopted by the Ministry to develop the creative industry of Sarawak? And number two, currently there is any database of creative industry players that are compiled by the Ministry? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Yang Berhormat for Satok. You see, Mr. Speaker, my ministry has implemented a few or several strategies to strengthen Sarawak creative industry, now focusing on cultural preservation, economic growth, and job creation. These are made possible with the establishment of Sarawak Arts Council under the Sarawak Arts Council Ordinance 2008 and the Sarawak Craft Council under the Sarawak Craft Council Ordinance 2023. Through this Sarawak Craft Council, MySony annual grant of 1 million ringgit, 40 applications amounting to 953,000 has been approved, benefiting 9 individuals, 12 associations, 8 communities, and 11 companies as of November this year. Now, the Sarawak Craft Council shall now be more empowered to lead, develop, and enhance the craft industry with the expanded responsibility defined in the ordinance to enable them exercise their promotional and marketing functionality, research and development capacity, and industrial development opportunity. This shall allow our craftsmen to benefit economically, enabling the creative industry in strive with Sarawak brand name. One effort worth mentioning is the organizing of the first ever, it's our homegrown event actually, Mr. Speaker, the first ever Borneo Craft Global Expo and Conference 2024 this year, an international event this year, which is going to start from the 27th of November to the 1st of December 2024, which aim to celebrate Kuching as an international city of craft under the theme globalizing local. Now, this event expects about 300 local, regional, and international craftsmen exhibiting their products at the podium waterfront Kuching, and another 400 participants will attend the conference at Hilton Kuching. Now, in this event, Mr. Speaker, there will be a lot of product is going to be showcased. For instance, textiles, local international batik, puak kumbuk, songket, keringkam, etc. And we also have aneka craft, beads, jewelries, anyaman, basketry mat, mats, headgear, logam parang, archa, ceramic pottery, and many more in this coming event. So our ministry has also supported this industry to strive by way of facilitation fund for the heritage, art and culture through the organizing of 277 events,
amounting to 17,249,361 ringgit to foster capacity building program for creative industry players and advancing heritage, art and culture preservation effort. Now for the second supplementary question, Mr. Speaker, our ministry is developing we call it a creative industry directory. Now this directory is a comprehensive database of all creative industry players in Sarawak. Since this portfolio, creative industry is new, so we need to have this directory. Now this directory is set for completion by April 2025 next year and currently includes 2,116 participants throughout Sarawak. Now this is something like we call it like yellow pages for the telecom, where you can find all the directories of the suppliers, the wholesalers of all in this craft industry. Now once finalized, the directory will serve as a valuable resource for both public and private sectors, which will strengthen the creative industry by enhancing visibility and this. All right, thank you. Now, and the creative industry by enhancing visibility and fostering the new opportunities for the collaborations and growth. Thank you much.
Alaiya Muhammad, question time is up.
Perbahasan atas bacaan kali yang kedua Rang Undang-Undang Pembekalan 2025-2024 dan usul untuk merujuk resolusi anggaran perbelanjaan pembangunan bagi tahun 2025.
Alaiya Muhammad, the question is that the Supply 2025 Bill 2024 be read a second time, and the motion to refer the resolution of the Development Estimates 2025 be passed and referred to the Committee of Supply. Alaiya Muhammad, 3 days, that is today, tomorrow, and Friday, are set aside for members to debate on the Supply 2025 Bill 2024 and a motion to refer the resolution on the Development Estimates 2025. Alaiya Muhammad, Understanding Order 31.8, I hereby impose 20 minutes for any member who wishes to speak. I now call upon Member for Bawang Asan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to participate in a debate on the Supply 2025 Bill 2024, tabled by Yang Amat Berhormat the Premier, Menteri Kewangan dan Ekonomi Baru on 11th November 2024. Mr. Speaker, during the speech at the 13th MP Malaysia Plan Engagement Session on October 30th, 2024, Yang Amat Berhormat Premier requested for an allocation of 100 billion or more from the federal government to implement various developments planned in Sarawak during the 13th Malaysia Plan, that is from 2026 to 2030. The Premier said, I quote, I hope the federal government will study and consider the needs of Sarawak. Indeed, in view of the fact that we have contributed so much year in, year out to the federal government coffer in terms of collection of taxes and revenue from the oil and gas, what is given back to Sarawak is considered very minimal and insignificant. Federal allocation in 2019 was 4.349 billion ringgit, representing 7.94% of the total development budget. 2020, 4.4 billion ringgit, representing 7.8%. 2021, 4.5 billion, representing 5.1%. 2022, 4.6 billion, representing 4.6%. 2023, 5.4 billion ringgit, representing 5.7%. And 2024, 5.8%, representing 6.4%. And for 2025, next year, allocations stand at 5.9 billion, only a slight increase over 2024. These unfair policies resulted in a vast disparity in the development of Sarawak when compared to our counterparts in Semenanjung, Malaysia. All these years, the national policy has always been Putrajaya-centric, tapping into our rich natural resources in Sarawak. During the year when I was Minister for Finance, from 2004, Minister for Finance 2, from 2004 to 2019, the federal government often used all kinds of excuses and administrative devices to delay the disbursement of funds to us and cause us to have insufficient time to implement the projects, and then use the non-performance excuses to give us less or lower allocation. The following
I think you have to stop, Member for Hassan, with the microphone.
Hello?
Your voice is distorted. Try again.
Our Premier is now asking the federal government to allocate 100 billion ringgit under 13 Malaysia Plan to enable Sarawak to improve our health facilities, repairing dilapidated schools, upgrading existing roads and constructing new roads, and achieving 100% clean water and electricity supply, and constructing 1,800 towers or communication structures to ensure full internet coverage in Sarawak. While giving full support to our Premier and the state government for asking greater allocation for Sarawak, we all must rally behind our Premier and the state government in demanding greater rights in the oil and gas distribution and trading in Sarawak. It is about time we demand greater shares in our own resources and use our own resources to build our country and to develop our state. Mr. Speaker, whatever the case, we should stand firm for more equitable sharing between Petros and Petronas in the development of both upstream and downstream activities. We are happy to note that Petronas has now recognized Petros as the sole aggregator for natural gas in Sarawak, and the detailed formula is to be further discussed and worked out. The people of Sarawak should all rally behind our state government in defending, protecting, and reclaiming the autonomous rights belonging to the state as stipulated in the MA 63 and the constitutional instruments annexed thereto. As said by Yanama Bohumat Premier, soon after he became the Chief Minister in his winding out speech on 14 November 2018. I quote what he said, "Our desire for Sarawak autonomy is not a knee-jerk reaction, but a long and deep emotion built over the past 55 years. Hence, the Premier is working hard to develop Sarawak-centric economic and financial policies. The Premier has since launched PCDS, Post-COVID Development Strategy, to propel Sarawak towards a thriving society driven by data and innovation to enjoy economic prosperity, social inclusivity, and sustainable government. Premier is also working hard to capitalize on opportunities to achieve 282 billion ringgit of GDP, gross domestic product, by 2030. He further said in his running out speech, 14 November 2001. This is what he said, as Anak Sarawak, we must come out front in determining the fate of our beloved homeland, Sarawak. We must fight hard with great courage and wisdom. The Yama Brahma, the Premier, fought hard in successfully imposing sales tax on oil and gas to greatly improve our state revenue. And now he's working hard on state greater share and control of trading and extraction of oil and gas. Mr. Speaker, I remember vividly when Premier first became the Chief Minister, and he told me one day, Sunko, I saw it. I wanted to do it. He was talking about imposing state sales tax. He said, why we only impose sales tax on crude oil, crude palm oil, and palm kernel oil? We could impose also on the oil products, on sales tax on oil products. Since the State Sales Tax Ordinance came into being since 1998. And so he imposed sales tax on oil products, giving us, on average, 3 billion ringgit per year. Imagine, 2018, 2019 until 2025, next year, that will give us something like 24 billion ringgit. If not for the brilliant and daring move of our Yanama Buma Premier, Sarawak would have been less than 24 billion ringgit in revenue in the past 8 years. The Premier fought hard in successfully imposing sales tax, and is also working hard now on state greater share and control of trading and extraction of oil and gas. Earlier, the setting up of Development Bank of Sarawak, DBOS, to facilitate alternative funding for development projects, acquisition of Bakun Dam, Bintulu Port, Think Bank, and Mars Wings are all some of the strategic plans to enhance Sarawak's status as a more autonomous and prosperous state. The Premier also set out State Sovereign Wealth Fund to generate wealth for the future. The Premier is also mulling to create a consolidated entity like Temasek Holdings for asset investment management. The Premier is also working hard to turn Sarawak into an energy hub, said the Prime Minister on September 28, 2024, when he visited Sarawak. I quote what the Prime Minister said. I quote, "If any country wants to know where the energy hub that can supply green energy, alternative energy, hydrogen green energy, they only have to look directly at Sarawak." This is what the Prime Minister said. The state is working on enhancing the green energy production, renewable power resources, and diversifying sources of energy. Indeed, the Premier's vision is for Sarawak to generate 10 GW by 2030 through abundant power resources. The Premier also planned to build a new Kuching International Airport with state-of-the-art design comparable to the best in the world. Premier also to build Tanjung Ampan Deep Sea Port to facilitate better handling of petroleum cargo. This would pave the way for Sarawak to become key gateway of ONG industry. The state also aspired to be the hub for space technology in the region and will formulate Sarawak Aerospace Industry Development Roadmap, said the Premier in his budget speech on Monday. The state is also mulling the idea of providing free education to selected students studying in the state-owned university, IPTS. The state is also seeking greater federal representation through increase of more parliamentary seats. The demand, according to Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Sri Fadila, has now entered into negotiation.
Member for Bawang Assam, we have a break for the technician to look at the system. I'm sorry, I have to stop you from continuing your speech. Continue your speech after we rectify the system. So we have a break in 20 minutes time. Member for Bawang Asam, there were electronic interruption to your speech that may not reflect well in Hansard. So you may restart your speech.
Thank you, Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Speaker. Thank you for allowing me to participate in the debate on the Supply 2025 Bill 2025 tabled by Premier, Menteri Kewangan dan Ekonomi Baru on 11 November 2024. Tan Sri Speaker, during the speech 13 Malaysia Plan engagement session on October 30th, 2024, our Premier requested for an allocation of 100 billion from the federal government to implement various development projects planned in Sarawak under the 13th Malaysia Plan, 13 MP, from 2026 to 2030. The Premier said, I quote, "I hope the federal government will study and consider seriously the needs of Sarawak." Indeed, Tan Sri Speaker, in view of the fact that we have contributed so much year in, year out to the federal government coffer in terms of collection of taxes and revenue from oil and gas, what is given back to Sarawak is considered very minimal and insignificant. Federal allocation in 2019 was 4.349 billion ringgit, representing 7.94% of the total development budget. 2020, 4.4 billion, representing 7.8%. 2021, 4.5 billion ringgit, representing 5.1%. 2022, 4.6 billion, representing 4.6%. 2023, 5.4 billion, representing 5.7%. And 2024, 5.8 billion, representing 6.4%. And for next year, 2025, allocation stand at 5.9 billion, only a very slight increase over 2024. These rather unfair policies resulted in vast disparity in the development of Sarawak when compared to our counterparts in Semenanjung, Malaysia. All these years, the national policy has always been Putrajaya-centric, tapping into our rich resources in Sarawak. During the years when I was Minister for Finance, that is from 2004 to 2019, the federal government often used all kinds of excuses and administrative devices to delay the disbursement of funds to us and cause us to have insufficient time to implement the projects, and then use the non-performance excuses to give us less or lower allocation the following years. Our Premier is now asking the federal government to allocate 100 billion ringgit under the 13 Malaysia Plan to enable Sarawak to improve our health facilities, repairing our dilapidated schools, upgrading existing roads and constructing new roads, and achieving 100% clean water and electricity supply, and constructing 1,800 towers or communication structures to ensure full internet coverage in Sarawak by 2030. While giving full support for our Premier and the state government for asking greater allocation to Sarawak, we all must rally behind the Premier and the state government in demanding greater rights in the oil and gas distribution and trading in Sarawak. It is about time that we demand greater share in our own resources and use our own rich resources to build our economy and to develop our state. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Speaker, whatever the case, we should stand firm for more equitable sharing between Petros and Petronas in the development of both the upstream and the downstream activities. We're happy to note that Petronas has now recognized Petros as the sole aggregator for natural gas in Sarawak, and detailed formula is to be further discussed and worked out. The people of Sarawak should all rally behind our state government in defending, protecting, and reclaiming the autonomous rights belonging to the state as stipulated in MA 63 and the constitutional instruments annexed thereto. As said by the Premier soon after he became the Chief Minister in his winding up speech on 14 November 2018, I quote, Our desire for Sarawak autonomy is not a knee-jerk reaction, but a long and deep emotion built over the last 55 years. Hence, our Premier is working hard to develop state Sarawak-centric economic and financial policies. The Premier has since launched PCDS, Post-COVID Development Strategy, to propel Sarawak towards a thriving society driven by data and innovation to enjoy economic prosperity, social inclusivity, and sustainable environment. The Premier is also working hard to capitalize on opportunities to achieve 282 billion ringgit in GDP by 2030. He further said in his winding out speech, delivered 14 November 2018, I quote, As anak Sarawak, we must come out front in determining the fate of our beloved homeland Sarawak. We must fight hard, and we must fight hard with great courage and wisdom. Indeed, Yang Berhormat the Premier fought hard in successfully imposing sales tax on oil and gas to greatly improve our state revenue. Tan Sri Speaker, I remember vividly, immediately after he became the Chief Minister, I remember he told me, because I was the second Minister for Finance, he said, Sungko, I saw it and I wanted to do it. He was talking about sales tax being imposed only on palm oil, on crude palm oil and the palm kernel oil in when we introduced the 1998 State Sales Tax Ordinance. He was saying that if we could impose sales tax on crude palm oil, why can't we impose sales tax on petroleum products? And because of this brilliant move, I would say very daring, he started to impose sales tax on petroleum products, giving the state of Sarawak, on the average, from 2018 to 2024, or 25 now, an average of 3 billion ringgit. Imagine for 8 years, from 2018 to 2025, Sarawak enjoy an additional revenue of 24 billion ringgit. And so we must thank the Premier for his courageous and, I must say, very daring move to impose the sales tax on oil products. And now, the Premier is working on state greater share and control of the trading and extraction of oil and gas. Earlier, the setting up of Development Bank of Sarawak is to facilitate alternative funding for development projects. Acquisition of Bakun Dam, Bintulu Port, Afing Bank and Mars Wings, which are going to happen soon, are also some of his strategic plans to enhance Sarawak's status as a more autonomous and prosperous state. The Premier also set up State Sovereign Wealth Future Fund to generate the wealth for our future. The Premier is also mulling to create a consolidated entity like Temasek Holdings for asset and investment management. The Premier is also working hard to turn Sarawak into an energy hub, said the Premier on September 28, 2020. Said the Prime Minister, Dr. Sri Anwar Ibrahim, on September 28, 2024, when he visited Sarawak. This is what the Prime Minister said, I quote, "If any country wants to know where the energy hub that can supply green energy, alternative energy, hydrogen green energy, they only have to look directly at Sarawak." Indeed, the state is working on enhancing the green energy production, renewable power resources, and diversifying sources of energy. Indeed, the Premier's vision for Sarawak to generate 10 GW by 2030 through abundant power sources. The Premier also planned to build a new Kuching International Airport with state-of-the-art design, comparable to the best in the world. Premier also proposed to build Tanjong Ambang Deep Sea Port to facilitate better handling of petroleum cargoes. This will pave the way for Sarawak to become the gateway of all O&G industry. The state also aspired to be the hub for space technology in the region and will formulate Sarawak Aerospace Industry Development Roadmap, said the Premier in his budget speech delivered on Monday, only this Monday. I quote, the state is, will formulate Sarawak Aerospace Industry Development Roadmap. The state is also mulling the idea of providing free education to selected students studying in the state-owned university IPTS. This is for human power development. The state is also seeking greater federal representation through the increase of more parliamentary seats. The demand, according to Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Sri Fadila, has now entered into negotiation for legislative assessment involving the State Attorney General from the Federal, Sarawak and Sabah government. DPN, Deputy Prime Minister, further disclosed during the Lan Berambah the procedure constitutional amendments for a decision. a decision. This is what the Deputy Prime Minister said. It is of increased parliamentary seats for Sarawak and Sabah. Increased parliamentary seats for Sarawak and Sabah, because increase in parliament seats will also cause a change in the Legislative Assembly seats for Sarawak and Sabah. All in all, I must say that our Yang Amat Berhormat, the visionary Premier, is leaving no stones unturned to fight for greater administrative, legislative and financial autonomy, for more resources of revenue, for more sources of revenue, for greater control of our natural resources, so that we can take control of our own destiny and boldly move on with our development agenda. Say our Premier, during his budget speech on Monday, 11th of November, I quote, 2024, only on Monday, he said, I quote, "The road ahead towards a better Sarawak will not be easy. There will be a lot of challenges. Let us turn our challenges into opportunity and the constraints into strengths," said the Premier. Many of the things, on another occasion he said, many of the things we are doing are new to Sarawak. We have hope and faith and courage. Together, God willing, we will success. We will succeed. And all of us should rally behind our Premier and the state government with a united spirit to help realize our projects and programs planned for the future of Sarawak. Mr. Speaker, let me now raise some matters relating to my constituency, Bawah Asan. Mr. Speaker, my constituency, N53 Bawah Asan, some of the polling stations in the outlying areas, such as Tutus, Rasau, Bungan Besar and Bungan Kecil, are under Matu District. Administratively, under Matu Districts. They come under Matu District. Nearer to Sarawak, nearer to Sibu, along Patang Ikan, the polling station come under Sibu District. It is difficult for the people in these areas to distinguish what matters come under which district councils, making them run both ways, making them run to both ends to seek help and assistance. And so, Mr. Speaker, it is hoped that in the forthcoming redelineation exercises, the electoral and administrative districts can be harmonized to avoid unnecessary confusion among the people in the areas. Mr. Speaker, in the district closer to Sibu, in my constituency, N53, infrastructure facilities are quite complete. All longhouses and kampong are well served by roads. But in the outlying areas, which are far away from Sibu town, such places like Rasau, Sungai Pinang, Bungan Besar, and Bungan Kecil are not accessible by roads. And they are only accessible by, some of them are accessible by plantation roads. But we have to use speedboats to reach some of these longhouses and kampong, and the journey may take up to 1 to 2 hours. I must thank the state GPS government for approving Jalan Sungai Biduk, Kampung Tutus, Kampung Sebedil, Kampung Bungang Kecil, Sibu Division with a total scheme value of 400 million ringgit. Phase 1 costing 104.56 million has been completed. It is hoped that the subsequent phases can be implemented soon. Jalan Kut Ngora, Sungai Penang, Bungang Besar, along Patan Ikang in Muka Division are also being planned. Once the roads are implemented, other facilities such as electricity and water supply can follow suit. Council Speaker, indeed Sarawak has a big land mass which require heavy capital outlays to build roads, to build road infrastructure, to cover all the areas. Deputy Premier, Minister for Infrastructure, said on December 5th, 2022, this is what he said, I quote, "Based on our study, we still need to build at least 2,000 kilometers or more roads, new roads, to ensure all those yet to be linked interior longhouses and kampongs will be connected." On another occasion, on 2nd June 2023, the Deputy Premier and Minister for Infrastructure said, it is further estimated that we need to build 5,000 kilometers rural roads, and when completed, all kampongs and longhouses can be accessible by road. The Deputy Premier further said, our plan is for this to happen by 2030, but this will certainly need quite a substantial sum of money. Now, on November 3rd, 2024, Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid, during his visit to Kuching, revealed that some of the federal projects which have been delayed from 2016 to 2022, imagine, these projects were delayed for so long, from 2016 to 2022, have to be implemented before the launch of 13 Malaysia Plan, 13 MP. Probably Deputy Prime Minister's open admission was in response to the request made by our Premier on 20th October 2024 during the 13th Malaysia Plan engagement session, when our Premier requested federal government to allocate 100 billion ringgit to implement various development projects planned for Sarawak under 13 Malaysia Plan, 13 MP.
You have to conclude, Honourable Member.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, the Sarawak government should keep on imploring the federal government to give more justice to Sarawak by the Sarawak government should keep on imploring the federal government to give more justice to Sarawak by agreeing to our fair and equitable proposals, considering the fact that we are the main contributor to the federal coffer and economy. Mr. Speaker, with the above observations, I fully support Supply 2025 Bill 2024. Sekian, terima kasih.
Member for Darul.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam sahabatku sayang dan salam segulai sejalai. Terima kasih Tan Sri Datuk Mas Speaker kerana telah memberi peluang kepada saya untuk mengambil bahagian dalam perbahasan rang Undang-Undang Pembekalan 2025 Bil 2024 yang telah dibentangkan oleh Yang Berhormat Premier Sarawak, Menteri Kewangan dan Ekonomi Baru, Menteri Sumber Asli dan Pembangunan Bandar, Menteri Tenaga dan Kelestarian Alam Sekitar dan Ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri N26 Gedong pada 11 November yang lepas. Tan Sri Datuk Mas Speaker, alhamdulillah, terlebih dulu sama-samalah kita menzahirkan rasa kesyukuran kepada Allah SWT. Dengan izin dan inayahnya jua, negeri kita telah dianugerahkan kemakmuran dan kesejahteraan yang berpanjangan. Di bawah kepimpinan Yang Berhormat Premier Sarawak, Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Haji Abdul Rahman Zuhari Bintulu Abang Haji Openg, di atas komitmen, kebijaksanaan dan kepimpinan yang cemerlang beliau serta barisan Kabinet Sarawak, kita yang berpandangan jauh telah meningkatkan pendapatan kepada negeri. Tan Sri Datuk Mas Speaker, pembentangan bajet 2025 yang bertemakan bersama membangun masa depan yang makmur bukan saja mencipta sejarah bajet yang terbesar setakat ini, tetapi turut mencipta banyak sejarah baru yang menguntungkan rakyat Sarawak. Alangkah bertuahnya kita sebagai rakyat Sarawak mempunyai pemimpin yang berjiwa besar, mempunyai visi yang berpandangan jauh, mengutamakan rakyat serta seorang bujang berani dalam memperjuangkan hak-hak Sarawak khususnya dalam MA63. Bajet yang bersifat eksklusiviti, people-centric yang merangkumi semua lapisan kehidupan rakyat serta rural bias amat sesuai dan memenuhi aspirasi rakyat rakyat Sarawak yang kita sayangi ini. Bajet yang berpaksikan 8 strategic trust mempunyai hala tuju yang jelas, oleh itu adalah menjadi harapan kita. Semoga pelaksanaan semua projek, program dan inisiatif dilaksanakan sebaik-baik yang mungkin oleh kementerian, jabatan dan agensi yang diamanahkan agar hasrat murni bajet ini mencapai matlamatnya. Saya mewakili rakyat dari Dun, Daro ingin merakamkan ucapan berbanyak terima kasih khususnya kepada Yang Berhormat Premier dan barisan kepimpinan. Beliau amnya di atas jasa bakti dan kerja keras yang tidak kenal erti penat dan lelah demi kemajuan dan kemakmuran Sarawak yang kita sayangi. Tan Sri Datuk Mas Speaker, sekarang izinkan saya menyentuh beberapa isu yang melibatkan kuasaan saya di N43 Daru yang memerlukan perhatian Dewan Yang Mulia ini. Diharap kementerian, jabatan dan agensi yang berkenaan dapat mengambil perhatian dan tindakan yang sewajarnya. Yang pertama, kemudahan kesihatan. Tan Sri Datuk Mas Speaker, saya ingin menzahirkan rasa syukur dan ucapan terima kasih kepada Kerajaan Persekutuan melalui Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia yang telah meluluskan Notice of Change ataupun NOC tambahan bagi melaksanakan pertamanya klinik kesihatan daru jenis 4 yang bernilai 50 juta yang akan dilaksanakan oleh Jabatan Kerjaya Sarawak. Yang kedua adalah kerja-kerja menyiapkan klinik pergian daerah daru yang telah terbengkalai sebelum ini yang dilaksanakan oleh Jabatan Kesihatan Malaysia yang bernilai 12.08 juta. Memandangkan kedua-dua projek ini amat diperlukan, namun ianya telah tertangguh untuk sekian lama disebabkan oleh keperluan pertambahan peruntukan. Maka saya mewakili masyarakat Daru merayu agar agensi-agensi pelaksana yang berkenaan dapat menyegerakan pelaksanaannya. Tan Sri Datuk Speaker, yang kedua ni jalan perhubungan desa. Berhubung dengan jalan perhubungan desa yang telah diluluskan oleh Kementerian Kemajuan Desa dan Wilayah ataupun dikenali sebagai KKDW bagi membina jalan Rumah Jingga, David Multi Farm, Rumah Seli, Rumah Guang, SK Singat, Sungai Lengan, bahagian Sibu Sarawak pula,
Saya selaku wakil rakyat kawasan ini ingin merakamkan ucapan setinggi-tinggi terima kasih kepada KKDW kerana telah meluluskan pertambahan kos daripada 70 juta kepada 80 juta pada bulan Julai yang lepas. Sebab itu, saya memohon kepada Jabatan Pengairan dan Saliran Sarawak selaku agensi pelaksana agar dapat menyegerakan pelaksanaan projek tersebut kerana ianya amat penting bagi penduduk setempat yang pada masa ini hanya bergantung kepada sungai sahaja sebagai laluan utama. Tahniah Tuan Speaker, bekalan air bersih di Daru. Isu bekalan air bersih di Daru masih lagi berurutan meskipun beberapa projek menaik taraf bekalan air telah siap dan sedang dilaksanakan. Namun didapati terdapat projek yang merupakan komponen penting bagi menyelesaikan tekanan air rendah masih lagi terbengkalai. Projek tangki aras tinggi berkapasiti 2 MLD yang hanya tinggal 1% saja lagi untuk disiapkan, tetapi nampak dia masih belum dapat disiapkan. Di mana saya dimaklumkan bahawa meskipun 2 kali tender kerja penjabungan telah dipanggil, tetapi tidak ada kontraktor yang berminat. Sebab itu, saya memohon agar pihak Jabatan Bekalan Air Luar Bandar Sarawak ataupun JBAP dapat mengkaji dan meneliti segera projek ini, termasuk menilai semula baki peruntukan yang mungkin tidak mencukupi bagi menyiapkan projek ini sepenuhnya. Apa yang dikhawatiri adalah kelewatan menyiapkan projek ini bukan saja boleh menjejaskan bekalan air di Daru, tetapi boleh menyebabkan implikasi dengan berlakunya kerosakan yang semakin serius akhirnya memerlukan kos perbaikan yang lebih besar. Tahniah Tuan Speaker. Yang keempat adalah Jalan Dual Carriageway Daru. Projek Jambatan Muara Lasa dijangka siap sepenuhnya pada 19 Januari 2025, di mana majlis peletakan bongkah terakhir telah dilaksanakan pada 7 November 2024 yang lepas. Dengan siapnya jambatan ini pasti akan memudahkan perhubungan khususnya kenderaan dari luar Daru untuk datang ke Daru, dan keadaan ini sudah pasti menambah kesesakan lalu lintas lebih lagi ketika waktu puncak. Oleh itu, keperluan jalan baru dual carriageway yang telah diluluskan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Premier pada 2 September 2023 bagi mengatasi masalah kesedaran ini hendaklah segera dilaksanakan supaya tidak menimbulkan kesulitan sehingga boleh menjejaskan minat orang luar untuk datang ke Daru. Oleh itu, saya memohon agar pihak kementerian berkenaan dapat memaklumkan bilakah agaknya pelaksanaan jalan dual carriageway ini dijangka akan bermula. Tahniah Tuan Speaker. Yang kelima, sektor pertanian. Salah satu sektor mendapat perhatian khusus dalam belanjawan kali ini adalah sektor pertanian. Pendekatan ini amat bertepatan sekali dan usaha kerajaan untuk memperkasakan ekonomi, khususnya rakyat di luar bandar. Sektor pertanian boleh diumpamakan sebagai suatu yang sinonim dengan rakyat di luar bandar, di mana di kawasan saya mempunyai cadangan untuk projek pembangunan Daro Paddy Scheme secara komersial yang perlu diusahakan secepat mungkin, dan saya telah difahamkan bahawa pihak Fekra Berhad telah pun mengadakan lawatan ke tapak skim tersebut pada 25 September 2024 yang lepas bersama dengan Jabatan Pertanian Sarawak. Sebab itu saya ingin mencadangkan agar penglibatan beberapa pihak syarikat yang lain juga perlu dipertimbangkan selain Fekra Berhad dalam joint venture umpamanya bagi membangunkan Daro Paddy Scheme supaya dapat meningkatkan lagi keupayaan dan daya saing selaras dengan matlamat kerajaan untuk mentransformasikan dan memperkasakan sektor pertanian. Yang keenam adalah pembangunan belia. Tahniah Tuan Speaker, selaku Setiausaha Agung Seberkas Negeri Sarawak, yang mana Seberkas merupakan sebuah pertubuhan belia yang terbesar dan tertua di Sarawak, ingin merakamkan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan kepada Yang Maha Premier di mana belanjawan kali ini telah membutuhkan sejumlah besar dan khusus untuk memperkasakan golongan belia di negeri ini. Ini sudah pasti merupakan satu perkabaran baik yang perlu dimanfaatkan oleh para belia. Selain daripada program dan aktiviti yang telah diluluskan dalam pemerkasaan belia, sebagai tambahan saya ingin mencadangkan pendedahan belia di peringkat antarabangsa turut dilaksanakan dengan memberi peluang serta memperuntukkan dana khusus untuk pertubuhan belia seperti seberkas sama ada melalui Kementerian Belia, Sukan dan Pembangunan Usaha Sarawak untuk menghantar peserta ke acara atau program berperingkat antarabangsa. Dengan cara ini, ianya bukan saja memberi pendedahan dan pengalaman tetapi juga boleh membangunkan bakat serta keyakinan diri yang tinggi dalam kalangan belia di negeri ini untuk bersaing dengan belia-belia di seantero dunia. Yang ketujuh, SK Batang Lasak Daru. Transi atau speaker, petapakan bagi sekolah kebangsaan Batang Lasak Daru yang baru seluas 8 ekar telah pun diluluskan dan saya telah dimaklumkan bahawa bayaran pepasan pengambilan alih tanah sedang dalam pelaksanaan. Sekali lagi saya memohon untuk pencerahan bilakah agaknya projek pembinaan SK Batang Lasak Daru yang baru akan dilaksanakan oleh pihak kerajaan, khususnya Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia memandangkan masalah hakisan tanah di sekolah tersebut sekarang semakin hari semakin membimbangkan dan dikhawatiri boleh mengancam keselamatan pelajar. Yang keempat, pembinaan kuartus dan komplek pentadbiran daerah Daru. Transi Dato' Amat Speaker, seperti mana yang telah dimaklumkan dalam pembatangan belanjawat oleh Yang Berhormat Premier pada 11 November yang lepas, bahawa Kerajaan Sarawak begitu komited untuk menangani masalah kekurangan kuartus kerajaan untuk penjawat awam, seterusnya memaklumkan akan membina kemudahan perumahan dan fasiliti yang lain untuk kaki tangan kerajaan di mana keseluruhan nilai skim adalah sebanyak 3.55 bilion telah diluluskan dan pembinaan dijual bermula pada tahun 2025 dengan peruntukan awal sebanyak 200 juta. Keputusan ini amatlah dialu-alukan khususnya untuk kaki tangan kerajaan di Daru, di mana pada ketika ini bukan saja mendiami kuartus kerajaan yang dalam keadaan daif, tetapi baru-baru ini hampir kesemua mereka telah diarah untuk mengosongkan kuartus yang didiami sekarang kerana telah mendapat kelulusan untuk dilupuskan bagi membolehkan pembinaan kuartus yang baru nanti. Keputusan ini amat memberi kesan kepada kaki tangan yang berkhidmat di Daru kerana mereka amat sukar untuk mencari rumah sewa di daerah tersebut. Oleh itu, saya mohon jasa baik dan keprihatinan Kerajaan Sarawak supaya daerah Daru diberi keutamaan untuk pembangunan perumahan kerajaan yang baru pada tahun 2025 nanti. Begitu juga dengan keperluan komplek pentadbiran daerah Daru yang baru seperti mana yang pernah saya utarakan dalam Dewan Yang Mulia ini. Daerah Daru memerlukan bangunan pentadbiran baru yang bersepadu bagi menempatkan jabatan kerajaan sama ada kerajaan negeri, persekutuan dan badan berkanun. Lainnya bukan saja untuk memberi kesesaan kepada kaki tangan kerajaan tetapi juga kepada rakyat yang datang untuk mendapat perkhidmatan dengan jabatan agensi kerajaan yang berkenaan. Yang kesembilan, membina terminal pengangkutan awam ataupun terminal bas bersepadu. Transi atau speaker, dahulunya sistem pengangkutan awam utama di Daru adalah melalui sungai. Namun sekarang nampaknya sistem pengangkutan sungai semakin berkurangan dan telah diganti oleh pengangkutan darat. Pengangkutan darat iaitu jalan raya semakin menjadi pilihan, lebih-lebih lagi dengan siapnya semua projek jembatan jalan pesisir nanti. Ekoran daripada perkembangan terkini ini, maka berlaku peningkatan permintaan ke atas pengangkutan awam seperti bas, van dan kereta sewa. Bagi menampung keperluan ini, maka saya ingin mencadangkan kepada kerajaan supaya dapat membina sebuah terminal pengangkutan awam ataupun terminal bas bersepadu berserta dengan kemudahan tempat letak kereta bertingkat di Daru. Terminal pengangkutan awam ini penting supaya pengurusan sistem pengangkutan awam akan lebih teratur, selesa dan selamat khususnya kepada para penumpang dan pengusaha kenderaan awam. Yang ke-10, perkhidmatan feri Batang Paluh. Transi atau speaker, seperti yang telah kita sedia maklum, Jambatan Muara Lasak dan Jambatan Batang Rajang akan dibuka pada orang awam pada awal tahun hadapan. Walaupun projek pembinaan jembatan Batang Paluh didapati dijangka hanya akan dapat disiapkan paling awal pun pada penghujung tahun 2025. Ini bermakna perkhidmatan feri Batang Paluh masih diperlukan. Dengan siapnya kedua jembatan tersebut sudah pasti akan melancarkan perjalanan kenderaan dari kedua-dua arah, tetapi apa yang merisaukan adalah berlakunya kesesakan di pangkalan feri Batang Paluh yang menjadi bottleneck. Perkara ini telah menimbulkan kebimbangan di kalangan rakyat yang sering memerlukan perkhidmatan tersebut. Oleh itu saya ingin mencadangkan mencadang dan memohon agar kerajaan dapat mempertimbangkan untuk menambah perkhidmatan feri atau meningkatkan kapasiti perkhidmatan feri di Batang Paluh supaya masalah ini dapat diatasi. Yang ke-11, pertubuhan peladang kawasan ataupun dikenali sebagai PPK. Tan Sri Tuan Speaker, selain daripada usaha kita untuk membangunkan sektor pertanian, salah satu pertubuhan yang boleh membantu untuk menjaga kebajikan para petani adalah melalui pertubuhan peladang kawasan. Walau bagaimanapun apa yang saya perhatikan nampaknya pertubuhan peladang yang sedia ada memerlukan satu suntikan anjakan paradigma yang baru supaya ianya lebih efisien dan efektif, khususnya dalam menjana ekonomi pertubuhan yang menguntungkan, seterusnya meningkatkan pendapatan ahli-ahlinya yang terdiri daripada para petani. Oleh itu, tindakan drastik seperti melaksanakan transformasi struktur, penambaikan strategik dan pemerkasaan semula operasi yang sedia ada perlu dilaksanakan agar selaras dengan perubahan dan keperluan semasa. Usaha ini bukan saja dapat menambah baik struktur dan bisnes model yang sedia ada, tetapi juga boleh membawa perubahan yang akan menjadikan ianya kekal relevan serta bermanfaat kepada ahlinya. Tan Sri Tuan Speaker, sebelum mengakhiri ucapan saya, dengan ini saya mengambil kesempatan untuk mengucap selamat menyambut Hari Christmas, Merry Christmas kepada rakan-rakan dan tawalan yang meraihkannya, dan selamat tahun baru kepada semua. Semoga 2025 nanti membawa lebih rahmat dan berkat kepada kita semua. Tan Sri Tuan Speaker, izinkan saya mengakhiri perbahasan saya dengan 4 rangkap pantun. Bulan syahdu si embun pagi, mekar sudah sejambak bunga. Berlenyawan padu, beribu visi, bersama membina masa depan sejahtera. Andai Tuan pergi ke dusun, bawakan hamba seutas tali. Saban tahun Sarawak pesat membangun, berkat pimpinan Cakna Bistari. Jalur pelangi menghias maya, warna-warni seluruh jagat. Terima kasih yang membunga premier, membentang bajet, mensejahterakan rakyat. Bergelar sipu, berjubah lawyer, tetap segak dengan mingsainya. Tahniah Tan Sri Datuk Amat Speaker mengendalikan sidang dengan jayanya. Dengan ini, Tan Sri Datuk Amat Speaker, sukacitanya Daro menyokong sepenuhnya Rang Undang-Undang Pembekalan 2025, Bil 2024. Sekian, wabillahi taufiq hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan terima kasih.
Member for Bukit Asek.
Tan Sri Datuk Amat Speaker, thank you for giving me the opportunity in participating in the debate on Supply 2025 Bill 2024. Which tabled by Yang Amat Berhormat Premier Sarawak Menteri Keuangan dan Ekonomi Baru. First of all, I would like to express my heartfelt congratulations to our visionary leader, Yang Amat Berhormat Premier of Sarawak. Under his leadership, the Sarawak government anticipates collecting revenue of almost 14 billion in 2024, which is expected to surpass the 2023 revenue collection of 13.3 billion ringgit, and this will be yet another record-breaking achievement, setting the highest revenue collection in Sarawak's history. Simultaneously, Sarawak is striving for greater achievements with 2025 state budget proposal with the theme, Together Building a Prosperous Future. This budget reflect our unwavering dedication to building an inclusive, prosperous Sarawak where every rakyat, regardless of background, has access to opportunities that allow them to thrive. And under the exemplary leadership of our Yang Amat Berhormat Premier, we are setting Sarawak on a path of resilience and growth, positioning our state to meet and overcome challenges while safeguarding the well-being of our rakyat. With a projected revenue of ringgit 14.2 billion and a historical high development expenditure allocation of ringgit 10.9 billion and surplus of ringgit 486 million, this budget signifies an ambitious yet responsible approach to advance infrastructure and foster economic development, as well as demonstrate our government prudent financial management and its evidence that Sarawak is on the robust footing to pursue the welfare of our people. While I wholeheartedly support this budget, I would like to address the income eligibility criteria for the various assistances provided to ensure they reach those truly in need. The budget's target assistance programs like the book vouchers, free laptops, and pocket money for students are commendable and will relieve many families, particularly the low and the middle income groups, of financial burden associated with education. Likewise, the Sumbangan Keperluan Asas Sarawak initiative is a meaningful program to ensure basic needs are met amid rising the living costs. However, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I wish to highlight and appeal to relook into the current criteria that set the household per capita income threshold at ringgit 1,500 per month. This criterion, while helpful for many, could overlook the segment of B40 community due to varying family size and the unique economy challenges. Allow me to illustrate with two scenarios. In the first case, consider a family where both parents working, collectively earning 4,850 ringgit per month with one child. Although they fall within the B40 category, based on the Department of Statistics Malaysia 2020 classification, their capita income is ringgit 1,616 ringgit and 67 cents, exceeding the 1,500 threshold. Consequently, they miss out on the essential support despite genuine being in the B40 category. In contrast, consider a family where the father is a general manager of a company, earns earning ringgit 11,500 monthly, while the mother stays at home to take care of the 4 children. 2 grandparents stay with a family without income. This family per capita income of ringgit 1,413 ringgit and 50 cents qualifies them for the assistance. So they are categorized as T20. This threshold, as it currently stands, could therefore benefit those who are not in as dire needs as some in the B40. I believe we must align this assistance program more closely with the Department of Statistics Malaysia household income classifications, ensuring that B40 and N40 segments receive adequate support. B40 and N40 household should be prioritized, for the assistance without rigid per capita income restrictions. And this approach will ensure that the 8 rich families in the B40 and N40 segment who genuinely need it as intended. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, with Sarawak's commitment to equity and prosperity for all, we must be responsive to this gap in the system. By revisiting these eligibility criteria and adapting them to the current economy realities, we can uphold the spirit of this budget to build an inclusive, prosperous Sarawak where no one is left behind. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, there are a few issues that I would like to bring attention to the August House in my constituency, N51 Bukit Asset. Number 1, Bukit Asset Redevelopment Plan. There is the initiative on the transformative redevelopment of Bukit Asset, as announced by our visionary Premier, represents a forward-thinking step to uplift Cebu, particularly Bukit Asset, as a model of modern, urban, renewable, and socio-economic development. Our Premier Sarawak had announced that the master plan set to be finalized and to be reviewed in the first quarter of 2025, and a 15 years implementation roadmap beginning in 2026. This redevelopment holds immense promise not only for Bukit Asset but for the entire Cebu region. According to LCDA, they are currently working with the international consultant Rainbow on the options of Bukit Asset redevelopment master plan. We are seeing steady and strategy progress, and I want to thank LCDA for their unwavering dedication to ensuring that this redevelopment is built on a foundation of scientific and social insight. As we move forward finalizing the redevelopment master plan, it is vital to engage with the people of Cebu, whose lives will be transformed by this initiative. Therefore, I urge LCDA to organize an exhibition to represent the finalized blueprint for the Bukit Asset redevelopment, hosting exhibition at accessible venue with on-site agency officers will give residents a clear understanding of the project, its phases, and also long-term benefits. This section should enable an open dialogue, allowing the people of Cebu to voice concern, ask questions, and see for themselves the thought and the care behind each element of the redevelopment. And this redevelopment is more than just a physical upgrade. It is a catalyst for the economy revitalizations. With comprehensive flood mitigation measures, improved infrastructure, and a renewed cityscape, Cebu is set to become a regional hub for the investment and business. The planned phases will boost the local economy, notably boosting the construction and related industry, creating job opportunity for the people of Cebu. As we look forward to the release of the full blueprint, we anticipate that the comprehensive approach to development will include initiatives to attract both local and international investors, making Bukit Asset a nucleus of economic activity. Thanks, Dr. Speaker. The Bukit Asset redevelopment is a beacon of hope for Cebu's future. I urge all stakeholders, particularly LCDA, to remain committed to this vision and engage meaningful with our community as we move forward. Let us work together to ensure that this redevelopment meets the high expectation of our people, addressing the need for security, opportunity, and prosperity. Number two, foreign workers permit issue for shipbuilding industry in Cebu. Thanks, Dr. Speaker. I rise to address a pressing issue impacting one of Sarawak's critical economic sector, and that is the shipbuilding industry. This industry, particularly in Cebu, has long been a significant pillar of our state's economy, providing substantial foreign exchange revenue, fostering skill employment, and supporting numerous local businesses through its supply chain. Despite its contribution, our shipbuilding sector is currently hampered by a severe labor shortage, threatening its stability, growth, and overall competitiveness on the global stage. One of the primary issues causing this labor shortage is the difficulty faced by the shipyard in recruiting local workers, as well as obtaining an adequate number of foreign workers permits. For application for foreign worker permits, many local shipyards have repeatedly encountered approval rates far below their application numbers. This has created an unsustainable environment where shipyards are struggling to meet the contractual obligations, not because of lack of business or technical capacity, but purely due to lack of manpower. Allow me to present a few examples to highlight the gravity of these situations. One shipyard applied for 125 foreign workers but received approval for only 11 workers. Another applied for 50 workers and only 15 were approved. In yet another case, a shipyard requested 70 workers and received permit for just 9, and many, many more. In total, this approval reflects a serious gap between the number of worker requests and the number permitted, with approval often less than 20% of what is needed. Despite fulfilling all requirements and following the procedures set by the Jabatan Tenaga Kerja Sarawak, the approval rates remain critically low and leaving the shipyard struggling to maintain the operation. I must emphasize that shipbuilding industry requires a labor force willing to work in demanding conditions under the hot sun with heavy materials and environments that many local workers find undesirable. For years, shipyards have attempted to recruit local labor, but have faced significant challenges in attracting sufficient local interest. Thus, for our shipbuilding industry to meet its demand and remain competitive, forced to access to foreign labor. I therefore urge the Sarawak government to address this matter as a priority with the following key actions. Number one, streamline the permit process. It is crucial to simplify and expedite the application process of foreign worker permit, ensuring that approval aligns closely with the industry needs. This will allow shipyards to maintain operations and fulfill the contracts on time, thus enhancing our state's economy. Number two, increase approval rates to meet the industrial demand. Where the shipyard can demonstrate that all procedural requirements have been met, the government agency should consider increasing the number of approved permits to a level that closely matches the application. A well-functioning shipyard sector has the potential to boost the Sarawak GDP significantly, and it's our interest to support this industry. Number three, invest in local labor training programs. While foreign labor remains essential, we must also focus on building a skilled local workforce. Relevant government agencies should establish specialized training programs in collaboration with local educational institutions and shipyards to encourage more Sarawakians to consider careers in shipbuilding. By providing hands-on skill development, proper incentive and support, we can gradually reduce the reliance on the foreign workers over time while creating sustainable, high-quality jobs for the local residents. The next issue that we're looking at here is the duplicate SST on the intrastate shipping freight within Sarawak waters. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I stand to bring forth an issue of significant impact on our daily lives of Sarawak people, particularly those in remote and rural areas. Recently, in a dialogue with Sarawak and Sabah Ship Owner Association, a pressing concern has come to light: the ongoing challenges posed by the sales and services tax on shipping freights for the movement of cargo within Sarawak waters. At the first glance, SST on the freight may appear to be minor administrative matter. However, when we examine the impact of Sarawak consumers, particularly those residing in remote areas, it becomes clear that the implications are far-reaching and indeed burdensome. Number one, duplicate taxation at the cost of remote community. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, under the current SST structures, the tax exemption for multi-stage transportation only applies to cases where the shipment remains intact from the loading point to the final destinations. However, if a shipment is partially dismantled mid-route, the SST exemption is no longer applicable. Consider, for example, a consignment traveling from Kuching to Cebu and then to Gapit. If merchants in Cebu open the package and send only half of it to Gapit, the receiver in Gapit will bear the weight of the double SST, which is paying SST from Kuching to Cebu and again from Cebu to Gapit. And this pattern of duplicated taxation could occur at every stage for other remote areas, resulting in compounding the costs that trickle down to consumer. It is in essence that the people of Sarawak, not the ship owners or the operators, who ultimately bear this burden. Ship owners and operators merely act as agents, collecting this tax on behalf of the federal governments. And this compounded SST not only drive out the price of essential goods in the rural area, but also create significant disadvantage for those already face the logistic barriers. Right in Kapit, Som, Belaka, and other many inland and coastal areas must pay a higher cost of living solely because their location require multiple stages of transportation. Such structures run counter to the principle of economic fairness, especially when our goal as a state is to improve the quality of life for all Sarawakians, regardless of the location. Sarawak rural and remote areas should be disproportionately impacted by tax policies that do not account for our unique geographical challenges. Therefore, I urge Sarawak government to intervene on behalf of the people of Sarawak. We must advocate for an exemption of the SST on intrastate shipping freight, or at the very least, an amendment to the SST policy that will allow for B2B exemption at each stage of the shipment, regardless of any package dismantling on road. And this is a matter of necessity, not luxury. This SST policy, as it currently stands, does not recognize the logistical realities of Sarawak and instead penalize the Sarawakian with duplicated costs. It is essential that the Federal Ministry of Finance understand this impact and reconsider this tax structure to support Sarawak's unique need. We should defend the right of our people and ensure that no Sarawakian, no matter how far they may reside from our urban counters, is disadvantaged by the policies that fail to account for our unique logistic landscape. I urge the federal government to remove this undue tax burden and create a pathway towards a more equitable, sustainable future of Sarawak shipping industry and its consumer. Tan Sri Tata Ahmad Speaker, GPS, a people-centric government that always prioritizes the well-being of its people and understand the needs and wants for a better Sarawak. I hope that relevant government department can relook into the eligibility criteria. We can enhance the impact of our assistance programs, ensuring they truly benefit the most vulnerable members of our society. Together, let's work to make Sarawak a place of opportunity, stability, and growth for every Raya. Lastly, I want to convey my heartfelt wishes for a Merry Christmas to all Christians and wishing everyone a happy and prosperous New Year 2026. Tan Sri Tata Ahmad Speaker, with above observation, I pledge my support on the Supply 2025 Bills 2024. Thank you very much.
Member for Ketiga.
Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dr. Ahmad Speaker, thank you for allowing me to debate on the budget 2025. Sebelum saya meneruskan, ingin saya bagi tahu Dewan bahawa dari Dewan Katibas ada datang bersama kita di galeri kerana mereka ingin tahu apa yang wakil rakyat mereka ucap di Dewan ini. I would like to congratulate Yang Amat Berhormat Premier for successfully tabling Sarawak budget for the year 2025. I would like also to congratulate our Sarawak Premier and all his cabinet and Sarawak administration for achieving the highest ever revenue of 12.2 billion for Sarawak as of October 2024. We scored another breakthrough with a vision of development for all, together building a prosperous, sustainable and a united Sarawak. As we ensure a sustainable development, I call upon all Sarawakian for unwavering support for GPS government under the premiership of our Yang Amat Berhormat Premier Sarawak and all his cabinet members who have been working hard toward realizing the aspiration of Sarawak Maju Makmur and Sarawak First, including but not limited to defending Sarawak right as enshrined in MA 63 and the IGC report. As Sarawak is pushing its success to continuously achieving high income since 2022, it is also continued to increase Sarawak household income from 4,544 to 15,000 as in PCDS 2030. Sarawak budget for the year 2024 was framed across 12 strategic trusts founded on the theme of development for all, together building a prosperous, sustainable, and a united Sarawak. It was to ensure that the development touches every corner of Sarawak, including Ketiga, and bridge the gap between urban and rural areas to propel Sarawak to a greater height. Similarly, Sarawak Budget 2024 invoked the strategic thrust on stimulating the regional and rural developments. It provided focus on rural development to uplift the well-being of rural community and enhance the economic potential of our rural based on the local strength and peculiarities with emphasis on the basic infrastructure and services to improve rural connectivity and accessibility. While we acknowledge and appreciated the strength of the previous budget, we are hopeful that Sarawak Budget 2025 will build on that successful strategies, especially one that impact the life of our rural community, particularly people in Dun Katibas. I am attracted to support and be part of this GPS government budget in building a prosperous future by pursuing an inclusive and prosperous Sarawak where every rakyat has an equitable access to opportunities and resources to thrive. I fully understand that our Premier will continuously prioritize and intensify effort to elevate the rakyat economic stature through various programs. As we anticipate a revenue of 14.2 billion till the end of year 2024, this GPS government will continue its rural bias strategies with development expenditure of 6.8 billion out of 10.9 billion proposed for development expenditure for Sarawak. As such, Ketiga would like to share that portion of this development budget. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Utama Speaker, kami itu si bapa pandai berpantun, but I will quote what a Professor Muhammad Yunus, the founder of Grameen Bank, quote. Rural development is not just about infrastructure and economy. It is about empowering people with the tools and knowledge to improve their life, unquote. Infrastructure to propel rural development. Rural impoverishment is not due to lack of hard work or spirit. I believe there is no lazy people in Ketiga, but a legacy of underinvestment from the past. It is not the result of any personal failure either. Rather, it is a systemic neglect that persisted over the years. And this is what Ketiga have today. As a result of that, I call upon this government to expedite and redress the fundamental needs for infrastructure to propel our rural economy, alongside with our efforts to improve the life and the livelihood of the people in the rural areas. To date, I have submitted several development proposals for budget inclusion and implementation by this GPS government, among others. Ketiga has been submitting total length of 156 kilometers of road to MIPD for inclusion and approval in our Sarawak rural road connectivity. To that, Ketiga received 7 kilometers Sungai Bangkit under Project Rakyat and 6.5 kilometers Sungai Tekalit, both are under pre-contract, while another stretch of 38.5 kilometers submitted under Rolling Plan 5 by MIPD. We hope and pray that all our requests to be acceded. Ketibas wish to record our appreciation to MIPD for facilitating 52 kilometers of 156 or 33% of our road strength. Notwithstanding that, Ketibas request MIPD to continue to include in the allocation of the remaining 104 kilometer road to ensure that Ketibas will come along with other Sarawakian in applauding Sarawak Maju Makmur by 2030. If Ketibas nak mansang, Sarawak also nak mansang. There cannot be one area lack while others enjoy development in all aspects. As such, I call upon the ministries to come forward to render our collective endeavor to develop Ketibas and Sarawak for all. In addition, Ketibas would like to convey our appreciation for the contribution from the federal government through Yang Berhormat Dato' Sri Alexander Nantalingi, Minister for Works and Member for Parliament, Kapit, for 16.5 km from Kabah to Rumah Bukit in Song worth 145 million, which is now in progress under the jurisdiction of Department of Irrigation and Drainage. And another stretch Rumah Bukit to Belawai, another 42 km, worth about 598 million under Kementerian Kerja Raya Malaysia. This stretch is fundamental and catalyst for land development along the north bank of Rejang River in Kapit Division. This is one of the results of Madani collaboration. I hope for Sarawak government, the GPS government, to continue working together with the federal government for mutual benefit for both parties. It is this result of Madani collaboration we will benefit. Nonetheless, we will continue and fight to demand our right enshrined in MA 63 and the IGC report. Ketibas hereby would also like to request the Ministry and the Development Agency to expedite the recovery of Banjul Makut and Makut Engkuah Road under Recorda. This stretch of road has long been outstanding with the underlying problem known to Recorda. Rakyat Ketibas are waiting for this road. Remember that a day we delay this road construction, a day we extend the people's sufferings. In addition, I just want to inform this August House that the budget proposal to address poverty in rural areas has been submitted to the Ministry of MPICOT for approval, and please let me know if there's any additional information that you need. I also would like to request the outcome of the study on poverty alleviation in Sarawak so that we can immediately implement the recommendation. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker on land ownership. Seperti yang tercatat di beberapa kitab bahawa manusia dijadikan dari tanah dan pulangnya juga ke tanah. Oleh itu, hal tanah adalah perkara yang sangat sensitif bagi kalangan pemilik tanah yang belum ada hak milik. Land ownership is more than just holding a piece of land title, but to the Ketibas people, it is the foundation of stability, security, and opportunity for growth and development for the individual and the family. I wish to extend our appreciation to the Premier of Sarawak, the Second Minister for Natural Resource and Urban Development, and the Department of Land and Survey for the approval for parameters survey under Section 6 for Ketibas, which has commenced since January 2024, and the survey work still in progress as of today. Ketibas also hereby request for the continuous support and allocation to carry out Section 6 survey and thereafter survey for Section 18. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, as the government continue to balance the rural-urban development, the focus for Ketibas is none other than to uplift the well-being of the rural community and enhance the economic potential of the land that we host. In that, Ketibas would like to suggest the setting up of Centex Satellite Campus in Ketibas for certificate in agriculture, inland fishery, and forestry management. This will empower our rural people, especially the youth, with skill and knowledge. It also can be a center for R&D for the subject matter. For the information of this August House, Katibas has 262,000 acres of NCR lands, still covered by forests, and about 80 kilometer stretch of Katibas River, populated by expensive indigenous fish. This effort also in support of our PCDS 2030 Sustainable Development Goal. Katibas River as indigenous fish pond. The setting up of Centec is in line with Emperor Bell approval for Katibas. As such, I would like GPS government to gazette Katibas River as indigenous fish pond for Sarawak, if not Borneo. In doing so, I request this government through its enforcement agencies to take more committed role to preserve the tranquility, pristine quality of our water, maintain the natural beauty and peacefulness of our river ecosystem. We must work together to make bold steps to stop polluters of any kind or any activities leading to murking river in Katibas. Overall, this initiative will preserve our forest carbon. Peladang Kawasan as collective center for paper. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, as for Peladang Kawasan Katibas, I request the ministry concerned to assist them to play active role to provide market linkages to local farmers, members, and to other broader marketplace. For the year 2024, I allocated 380,000 to upgrade the stall to collect product from their members, particularly the 369 paper planters who always roam around to look for buyer to buy their paper product. They always end up in exploitation in price. Integrated transport terminal, both land and riverine, to facilitate tourism for Katibas. The need for the integrated transport terminal require immediate attention from the ministry. Both contribute significantly to local economy by fostering trade, transportation, creating job opportunities, and stimulating surrounding communities. In November 2023 June sitting, I submitted through Ministry of Transport the application for preliminary allocation, so far to date still outstanding. Light industrial facilities. In our effort to meet growing needs of the industry, including SME for Katibas, I would like to request for the light industrial facilities to support our entrepreneurs as we open our land with more socio-economic initiative. Also request the ministry to expedite the construction of Anjok Usahawan for Katibas. Land siting and design have been completed. We give credit to when it is due, honoring the trophy Sarawak Global Leader in Peatland Research. Tuan Speaker, on October 22, 2024, Sarawak Tropical Peat Research Institute, or TROPI, was honored with the esteemed Tan Sri Emeritus Professor Agustin Ong International Award for Lifetime Achievement in Industry category, presented by Malaysia Oil Scientists and Technologies Association, MOSTA, in Kuala Lumpur. This prestigious recognition highlights our very own homegrown research institute, TROPI, invaluable contribution to sustainable oil palm cultivation, climate change, and environmental stewardship for the benefit of this August House. It is worth noting that TROPI is the only credible and renowned research institute focused on tropical peatland ecosystem in the world. Datuk Dr. Luli Meleng, the most lauded director of TROPI, has earned TROPI respect and international recognition on the international stage through her vision, dedication, and continuous high-impact scientific publication, highlighting our Sarawak government commitment to the people and the environment. In this regard, Sarawak be proud of Datuk Dr. Luli's achievement, and she should be recognized for her dedication and accomplishment. In that regard, Tuan Speaker, I understand and would like to thank Yang Amat Berhormat Premier of Sarawak for the unwavering support given to TROPI research endeavors. In view of this support, I would like also to humbly propose the consideration be given to expanding the scope of trophy research to explore sustainable way of utilizing our native land right to improve agriculture productivity, land use, and for food security for the benefit of our rural communities. In that, we will have better control and effective land use for Sarawak. Sarawak International School. I wish to congratulate GPS government for setting up Sarawak International School that ensure accessibility to quality education for Sarawakian of diverse background. While we are wholeheartedly supporting this endeavor, we must not forget the silent heartbeat of our poor rural boys and girls who wish to study at this reputable school, hoping for high-quality education, greater opportunity to improve their families in the future. They are not capable to compete on the same level with our city boys for the entrance examination test. As such, I request the ministry to accord some affirmative action for rural students to be given a chance and a place to study until such time they will compete on meritocracy. Facilities in the rural school. For the information of this August House, there are 17 primary schools in Ketiga without any science laboratory to facilitate the learning. As such, I call upon Education Ministry to immediately intervene whether there is a need for this laboratory in our primary school. Today, in this August House, as we debate on Sarawak Budget 2025, we have an opportunity to shape the vision of inclusive growth and custodian of hopes and aspiration to uplift the life and the livelihood of our beloved Sarawakian wherever they are. Let us remember that true prosperity is not measured by the success of few Sarawakian, but by the well-being of all. At the same time, making that no one is left behind in Sarawak. In view of that, let us together to make that poverty into prosperity, isolation in that area to become inclusion by this government. And I call upon every ministry to actively and step up to bring Sarawak and its people to a greater height so that we can all enjoy Sarawak Maju Makmur by 2030. With that, Ketibas support this budget 2025. Thank you.
Ali Muhammad, we have a lunch break. Sitting resumes at 2:30 p.m.